Harvest chapter 39. I could have wished myself dead that day, for the feeling which I felt and saw, O people of God, was beyond excruciating, and simple words of sound and speech cannot adequately describe it. To be thrown into the hands of such horrible creatures without warning, and know that your soul is doomed forever to never go out of the circle of the curse of them forever, who circle the living with the curse, and turn a born-again saint into a dead old sinner, and bring his soul down into Johnny Cash's ring of fire, the fearful state of agony. For I felt a little bit of the extreme weight of his pain there, as I looked up at his tormentors, having received a very small measure of his intolerable sufferings in the dead of my own body, and the gravity of the weight of extreme grief which flooded the pores of his soul as he lay there dying. O horrors of hell, where are your delights? O Perdicia, where are your splendors? Who are the home of the soul of jackals, and the place of demons, and the den of dragons in their hateful palaces, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird? Cursed be every being who chooses to go down into you. And I looked and saw their governors of their evil estates boiling feces into the rotting mass of their latest victims, and their female counterparts pierced their women together with the sewing needle of a great iron, and strung them around their necks on a scarlet-colored thread for a beaded necklace, like popcorn around a Christmas tree, or a beaded bracelet around the circle of a woman's wrist. Pity the dead who are your accessories. So they went up on the devils of death row, and the iron heights for ornaments of silver, and Club Zero for rings of gold, and the 10 bony fingers of Khan the Mandarin, the sorcerer of the god of slavery. Sainted them who went up to them to be free. You were mine on the day that you served me, and I shall wear you this day that I make up my jewels. Then he laughed a horrible laugh, and cold-hearted cruelty echoed out through the smoke of the air of their endless torment. So they were left there in the dungeons of Gilead, and hung out to dry on the place of a skull, where the other cursed wretches looked on, mocking the pain of their agony, which only multiplied the grief of their many sorrows further, and furthered the increase of the pains of their torments more, whose subjects of torment violently screamed on their neck who had pierced them, and cried out to be freed from the wrap around of them, whose prisoners were their beads, and their sins their strings, and their sewing needles their choices, and their wearers the fallen. Then after this, the Spirit of the Lord caught me away, and I traveled back in time as a whirlwind, and he took me all over hell for many years, and I visited many places, whose governors of the pit of hell built up many evil add-ons, and added on many chambers of coal as they were provided, according to the works of their servers, that they who served them might build up their houses, and dig their own ditches, and construct the bars of their own cages. Open wide, you gates, O depths of Satan, that the wicked nation which keeps not the truth may enter in. So the gates were open, and the unrighteous dead who kept their works went into them, and the gates were slammed shut, and the iron bars were bolted, and their enemies received them with great joy. Welcome to hell. We hope you like it. Chapter 39. Why do you rejoice, O you wretches, and you cheerleaders of sin, you scoundrels? Open your eyes and look at where you're walking. Can you not see? Have you no eyes to behold? You sowed death in the earth. Will you now reap life? You planted briars and thorns. Will you now have ears of corn for harvest? Come, eat of the fruits of your labors, and go down into the fields of your harvest, and enter in by the way of the broad which you have gone in to sow, and come and see many places. Raccoon City of the walking dead, Camp Crystal Lake for the defilement of the beastly abused, Hell's Kitchen of the kingpin with the daredevils, and Arkham Asylum of the Batcave in Gotham City. For these are the places of things turned upside down, and the evil fruit of the sinner to see met the deepest desires of his darkest the deepest depths of his darkest desires. Delight yourself in the devil, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Trust also in him, and he will do it. So the wicked put their trust in him, and they all fell down here. Oh, how awful it is to see the damned suffer, and the fruit of their deeds to see them glory, who glory in sin for the destruction of their flesh, and great transgression for the benefits of the mortally wounded. One went in with 10 and ended up with naught. One had 2 talents of silver, but fell to 0. One vomited out feces and the other sulfur, and I felt the stink of them and the taste of the puke of sulfur and vomit come up through the bowels of my mouth, and the taste was horrible, and I gagged and almost threw up in my bed literally. Who can describe a place called hell? Who can put it on a movie screen to show it? If one were to speak of it, behold, he would lay his hand over his mouth, and to show it, he would cringe in his chair, and his whole audience watching would die in their seats. When the curtain goes up, terror begins. And he went up unto them on that day, as a scroll of heaven that is rolled together after that it has departed, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. O mountains and rocks, fall on us, they said, and the underground tunnels for shelter us, and hide us from the face of the one that sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who is able to stand?